there. So I guess I only got really two other really good ones to kind of chat about. And a reason, like I said, again, Chad and I, we are '09 Sierra, so we've only ever been in a training environment. We've never been in an active duty environment. So all we have is training and being treated like trainees and crap, essentially, throughout most of our military career. So another really good story I would have to say is when we went out to the Forge. And the Forge is the final
Field excursion.
So I have two good ones about the Forge, and one of them is when we're done with the Forge, like we're walking and we get like 2 hours of sleep that night, so we leave the training range and we walk to bed down for the night. It's pitch black by the time we get to a place where we bed down, and it's probably almost like 11. It's like 11 or 12 o'clock at night, and then we have to wake up at like 3 so we can get to the Hilton Field at 4. So you're just tired. Everybody's like, you conk out pretty quick, but it was hot out that night, and it was, so it was going to sleep for me was kind of tough because we just got done walking, and you get in your sleeping bag and trying to cool down, but the sleeping bag's hot too, and so I was like unzipped, like just out in the open trying to sleep, and so again, minimal sleep. That's the most important part of this. Then you're out in the field for 3 days, almost 4 days, and you get very minimal sleep. And we're walking to Hilton Field, and we have to ruck to Hilton Field. And when you get there, it's a dangerous track too. Like, it's dark and mushy and muddy, and I nearly rolled my ankle like 5 times just because like the terrain is so rough out there. Those fire breaks you're walking through. So we get to Hilton Field, and we're there for the graduation. The entire battalion is there, and as we're going through and finishing or doing the ceremony, they have they have like all these soldiers. They have all the uniforms throughout the years in the U.S. military. So it's like you have the Revolutionary War. So it's like, the blue coat with the, the wig and the
powdered wig.
The powdered wig and the little cool cap they wore. And then you get like the second Revolution where it's very similar. And then you get the Civil War uniform. But what was so funny is the first guy they roll out is like, he looks like the guy in the powdered wig. It might as well just be George Washington. They march out there on stage. So like I said, but they have World War II soldiers, they have Vietnam War dress soldiers, they have Gulf conflict war, so Iraq, Afghanistan, and then even the modern military uniform. But the first guy that rolls out is the Revolutionary War soldier, and I'm standing next to my buddy, and his name is Danny Avitia. And he is he's tired too. We're all tired. Like, you're standing at attention during the ceremony, trying not to, like, and there are people just plopping down left and right because they're so tired. Like, they lock their legs out, they lose blood flow, and they just pass out right next to you. So you're trying to just stay awake. So I know VT is struggling to stay awake too because your head's just nodding. You're standing up, but you're just. But Danny's standing next to me, and he's like, "Yo." He's like, he just turns to me. He's kind of nudges me, even though we're out of attention. He's like, "Hey, yo, am I tripping right now? Or is that Black George Washington on stage?" It's just like, I'm biting. I nearly bit my tongue off because, like, you don't want to laugh out loud during the ceremony. But I'm like, shut up, Danny. Like, you got to make me piss my pants laughing because we're trying, like, it's like the super serious ceremony. But yeah, he's like, "Yo, is that Black George Washington up there, man?" I was just like, and when you're tired, everything is absolutely. But looking back at it, it's hilarious anyway. But yeah, it was just that was the funniest thing that he said. I still remember it so vividly this day, just being that tired, but it was just that funny. And the other real memorable thing that happened out in the Forge was, well, I guess at Bravo, we got to have our phones every Sunday, which is nice. Chad, you didn't get that luxury. We got
not every Sunday. We got it a lot of Sundays, but we always lost our phone privileges. Usually your platoon, first platoon, always did something to lose us our phone privileges.
Yeah, we were a good platoon that cycle, other than the time we got evicted because somebody had to smuggle an extra cell phone into the bay. Yeah, that was rough.
I bet.
But but so we got to talk to our phone. So right before we left for the Forge, which was, like I said, again, the final 3-day excursion out in the field where basically you're done. And I'm talking, I get an hour, so I get to talk to my mom and dad. I get to talk to Chad. I get to talk to my girlfriend. I get to talk to a lot of people. I call a couple of my friends, and I call one of my buddies who was in the 82nd. Case, you guys actually, if you've seen Case's video, you've heard this story before. But I call him, and he's like, hey, man. And I'm like, hey, how you doing? He's like, everything going good? And I'm like, yeah, just ready to be done with this crap, ready to go get my beret and be done with this. And he was like, yeah, I hear you, man. And I was like, hey, have you got any mail from me? And I was like, no. And he's like, oh, okay, well, be on the lookout for it. And I was like, all right. And then we go to the forge, and I don't think anything about it. So last day of the forge, we wake up before we step off to go to do the final ruck march and then to the firing range. I'm sitting on my bag. Sun's coming up. It's early hours in the morning. So we're just got done having chow or about to have chow. But we're just sitting on our ruck packs in formation or in, straight line formation. Mm-hmm. And, I just hear, Watson! And they don't sound happy, but, I'm just like, I hope they're talking about the Watson in 4th Platoon. And it gets closer and louder, and, it's like, Watson! I was like, crap, it's me. So, so I go over, and I just jog, and they go, come alone! Come by yourself, and don't say anything to anybody else! And I was like, what's going on? And, of course, my whole platoon is like, what'd you do? And I'm like, guys, I've been here with you the whole time. What could I have done? So I jog up, and the entire drill sergeant cadre, they're all hanging out in a big circle together, and they're all looking at their phones. And then I walk in, and, it's like, I don't want to enter this circle. I don't know what's going on, what I'm in trouble for. And I walk up, and one of them pulls out their phone and goes, Watson, what is this? And it's a letter, and it says, Porn Addicts Recovery Society of America. Together we can beat it. And together we seek release. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, oh, my gosh. And I was like, this is the letter that Case was talking about. So I'm like, no, this is a prank. This is a prank letter. My buddy sent this to me from the 82nd. He's just being a jerk. And Drill Sergeant Musgrove was in the 82nd, and he was like, yeah, that sounds like something somebody from the 80 Deuce would do. And I was like, oh, thank goodness, But they're like, we'll handle this when we get back to the CTA or back to the Bravo. And I was like, cool. And I go jogging back to my platoon, and everybody's like, what happened? I was like, I can't say, I'm not supposed to say, so, but I was like, it's not a big deal, effectively, is what I confirmed them with. But, again, like, we're still 24 hours away from graduation ceremony at this point. Like I just told you, we went to the beret ceremony. I told that story about a Danny Avita. And so we go, and we have a full day of rucking, shooting, and then, like, 2 hours of sleep. So I have forgotten about all of this, because just remember that funny story I told you about Avitia. Is that Black George Washington up there? Like, all that's happened. We're having a good time. We got our berets put on. We are officially, beret hatted soldiers now, so we're feeling cool. And we get back to the CTA. We get to have breakfast at the DFAC. Awesome. You feeling good after that. And then you go back to CTA. It's like, we're gonna have mail call, and then we get to, and it's once they go, we're having mail call, that I'm like, oh, crap, mail call. I forgot about this. So as mail call is happening, I see that they have a giant, like, I don't know what you call it, like a laundry box of mail with, like, foldable tops. And, they pull them all out, and I'm like, oh, my mail's not here. Good stuff. They're not going to give it to me because, like I said, there are certain things that are contraband, like any pornographic materials, anything like that, like, is considered contraband. Like, you can't have nudie pictures, you can't have things like that. So assuming that that's what they thought was in there, they're not realizing it's a prank. They're like, oh gosh, this guy has problems, we can't, like, openly. But then I was like, okay, cool, so they're not going to give it to me. I'm like, sweet. But then another drill sergeant comes out with a separate hamper, and it's, like, see-through, and I can see the envelope in there. I was like, crap, there it is, and so Drill Sergeant V, she gets up there on the drill sergeant stand, and, like, she's like, Trainee Watson! And I was like, I jog up, and I'm like, yes, Drill Sergeant. And she's like, come up here. And if you know anything about the drill sergeant stand, you're not supposed to touch it. Like, people who accidentally bump into it get yelled at. People who put their arm on it to rest to get yelled at. Like, it's a sacred place for the drill sergeants. Trainees are not allowed. But she's like, come up here. And I'm like, oh, whoa, drill sergeant. I can't do that. And she's like, get your butt up here right now. And I'm like, oh, God. So I get up there and she hands me this envelope that, and she's like, read it. And I was just like, read what? She's like, quit being smart. Read your letter to the company or read. And I can't even open it. I'm just like, I'm reading the top and it just says, this is my letter from the Porn Addicts Recovery Society of America. I'm laughing my butt off while I'm trying to read this because it's just so ridiculous. And I'm like we can beat it. Together we seek release. And I'm sitting there reading this stuff just like uncontrollably laughing. So people probably even know what I'm saying, but they just know I'm laughing at this. And they know they said something about porn. So of course, after that, they break formation. You guys can go to your bays now. And, like, everybody just darts up to me and goes, what do you have? What do you have? Let me see it. And, like, so I show them, and then I open the card, and there's a prank card on the inside that says, ha, I gotcha, So I show everybody. They're like, oh, cool. And then I show the drill sergeant, saying, I told you it was a prank. I'm not a pervert, So that was that, but she made me do like 50 to 100 burpees. I can't remember the exact number, but man, yeah, she dropped me. It was like, yeah, do like 50 burpees. And I was like, shoot. So like I said, again, mail call. You got to do your punishment for your mail. If you get one letter, 20 push-ups. Or it's the drill sergeant's discretion too. They can be like, you do 20 burpees or you do 20 push-ups. They can make sprint to the traffic cone and back, whatever. They can make you do whatever.
Yep. Said we had a kid in our company. That's the one I forgot. He got like 10 letters every day, and he made him do so much stuff. He said he would be to the point, he's like, I can't do it anymore. I said, I think he almost thought about quitting basic training just solely because of
mail.
How much mail he got, because of how much punishment he had to do.
Yeah, they should have just wrote his family, stop writing me.
Yeah. Oh, y'all like your kid a little too much, because I saw his parents at the thing. Like, I've never seen someone do so many push-ups for mail before in my entire life.
Yeah, I remember that. I was there with you. But yeah, so that was a very fun, and so kudos to Case. That was a fun, memorable part, and everybody had a good time at my expense. But it was fun. It was a good experience.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, and then graduation, and then boom, off to the pre-OCS environment. Yeah.